Hello. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today.
That's
We
okay.
have with us Aimee Tacchi, who is a React developer, who is joining the podcast today to talk with us a bit about her career, share some advice. So she's recently changing job roles, which is very exciting. To start us off, could you introduce yourself, Amy, a bit about yourself? That would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. So I've been a developer for about 8 years now. Um, I'm recently changing jobs. So I was doing React and I'm going on to be a front end software engineer starting on Monday. So that's really exciting. Um, I've been doing React for about 2.5, nearly 3 years now. My previous role, which was really good, I really enjoyed it. But I thought it was time to move on. I wanted to kind of go back to being like hybrid because I was 100% remote and I live
Yeah.
alone and it gets a bit lonely and boring just on your
Yeah.
own all the time. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited about that. Um, I've had quite a few jobs. I've had about 7 jobs, I think, in the last 8 years, but I needed to keep changing to like move up the ladder.
Yeah,
Just
exactly. To push yourself and learn new skills. And no, it sounds interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, how did you get into development? Because this is quite interesting as well. Explain to us a bit about how you first got into it as a career.
yeah. So I guess back then, um, I was really into art. So I wanted to be a web designer at the very beginning because I did art at school, GCSE art and everything. Um, and I got into computers from my granddad. He was a wedding photographer, so he bought me my first computer when I was about 13, and he would always use Photoshop to edit his photos and everything. And I kind of got into that, and then I kind of found out about web design, and I was like, I want to be a web designer, and I started
That's
like
really
playing around
cool.
on Photoshop. Yeah, and then I realized it wasn't actually very good, so um, I started like finding out you could code on MySpace, which makes me
Oh,
sound really old
MySpace.
now.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you could like write I think you could write HTML and stuff on there and change your profile to different colors and stuff. Um, and that's kind of where I first started
That's where it all
learning.
began. Yeah, no, that's really cool how you got
Okay.
into it. And so you mentioned obviously you're going in with this new role in sort of front end development, software engineering, and you spoke about React JS. But are there preferred technologies that you'd quite like to work with? With your work.
So React is what I want to do. So
Mm.
I've been trying to get into a React job for quite a while. So luckily, I got made redundant from the job before the one I've just left.
Mm.
Um, and the job I've just left was a React job. I was doing a bit of WordPress there as well, but I preferred to do the React work.
Yeah, why is that then? What is it about React that you like? There must be a reason why you like that.
I I prefer JavaScript over PHP. So WordPress is PHP, and I
Mm.
don't really enjoy writing PHP. I
No.
prefer writing JavaScript because it's client side. I guess you can do it server side too now,
So
but
it's more user interface, is it, like front end rather than all the back end development? It's more you find
yeah,
it you enjoy it more. Yeah.
yeah, I prefer the front end because I
Yeah.
guess it's visual as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really
Yeah,
interesting. Thank you. Okay, good stuff. So it'd be really interesting as well to find out a bit more about how you made this decision with the recent job change, because people make decisions on what they take for a role for various different reasons. You mentioned one of them being that you quite like to now be within a team. And I feel like perhaps that's changing a bit. Where as before, after COVID, a lot of people wanted to be, carrying on that being able to work from home.
yeah.
And I see a bit of a shift. Actually, people now want to be interacting with people, want to be a bit more hybrid or office based. Was that the key sort of reason for you for moving, or were there any other sort of motivations, would you say?
So I was only really looking 50% kind of. I was waiting for something to come along that fitted everything I was looking for. So I wanted another React job. I wanted to work in a team. I wanted all the tech that I was currently using and more stuff. And the hybrid was one of the main things that I wanted to leave, because I've been working from home since 2020, and the previous job that I was made redundant from, that was hybrid. So I was in the office like 3 days a week, and then I got to work from home twice a week. And then when we
You
went
preferred that. Yeah.
lockdown, it was quite a change, and it was quite hard just sitting at home all the time.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And that is really helpful for teams and businesses to understand that actually people want to be within the team environment, hybrid.
Yeah.
And actually remote working is great, but it doesn't always work. And actually people like to be within that team and interact with others. It's a really important part of it.
I
Yeah.
feel like if you work from home all the time, you kind of get anxiety when you go out. I've been forcing myself out to all these Milton Keynes events,
Yeah.
and I went to Maiding MK, the first one, um, and I was really anxious in the room. It's like, there's so many people in here, because I'm so used to working at home on my own, and I wanted to kind of get rid of that anxiety. So I forced myself to go to these events to meet people and talk to people more.
Mm.
And now I've got loads of new friends, and I know most people that go to these events now, so I'm less anxious.
Yeah, that's really good, that you stepped outside your comfort zone there when you were for so long used to being, quite isolated.
Yeah,
I think must have like triggered you to be like, do you know what, this isn't right. I need to get myself out and I need to meet people.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
no,
this
that's
has kind of
interesting. Yeah.
affected a lot of people.
Mm. And when you were searching for this new position, is there any advice that you could give to job seekers? So perhaps, how you went about your job search, what online job board you may have used or who you spoke with, just to get an idea of, some advice for people looking for work.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was applying for jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed, Read, but I wasn't really getting anywhere. This job that I've got, I had an email come through from a recruiter. Um, he must have already had my email address from before,
Mm.
and I just like, oh, this sounds perfect. I'm going to apply for this.
Great. So it's a recruiter like that. That's great.
Yeah,
So someone within the industry that knew that you'd be quite right for a specific role and reached out to you about it.
yeah.
Mm.
But I always get recruiters messaging me. So many. They're still
Do
messaging
you?
now. I'm like, I
How
don't even have my
popular.
CV up on the board. So
Yeah. Just to get an idea of what that's likely to look like. I mean, do you sort of get quite a lot of messages or emails or phone calls? What would be sort of the norm that you'd get coming through?
I get quite a lot of people on LinkedIn contacting me. I get emails, and I occasionally get phone calls. I never answer my phone, so they
Oh,
leave
do
a
you
voice
not? No.
message normally.
Wait
Um,
for the email to come through. Yeah. No, that's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. And how did you find sort of the decision making stage of the obviously you had your interview, like how did you sort of like decide that this was right for you?
So I guess I made sure I asked all the questions in the interview, from all the things that I wanted to know and what they offered and what they did. Um, when I'm interviewing, I normally make sure I'm interviewing them as well as them interviewing me. I want to know as much information as possible before I get offered the job, because
That's
I've
really
I've
helpful
been to
advice.
plenty of jobs before, and I've not like stayed very long, a year, because I've got bored. Like, I like being busy. I like having work to do. In my
Mm.
last job, I was always busy.
So do you
I
think
just
perhaps some of those previous companies could have perhaps made it less boring? Do you know what I mean? Like they could have challenged you a bit more or given you
yeah,
more to learn, and then maybe you would have stayed. Do you think if they were a bit more challenged?
possibly. It was also about the salary as well. So I wasn't paid very much at these last roles. The one I just left was fine,
Mm.
but previous ones, I've had to work my way up the ladder, and I've had to
Mm.
change jobs to do that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess the more jobs you have, the more experience you get, so you're worth more.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's really good insight, that, because I think, like you say, that there's some highlighted reasons there as perhaps why you didn't stay, and where there's tech teams that do tend to perhaps lose staff and don't retain them, it's helpful to know why. And if someone isn't getting challenged and learning, then they're going to want to sort of see what else is out there. So it's that sort of development, that learning those skills, so you feel like you are in a good place where you're consistently
Yeah.
learning and developing yourself. Yeah, hopefully this new position will allow that, that there's going to be development
Definitely.
for you there.
Yeah, it definitely seems like there's going to be lots of stuff to do. I met a few of them on Wednesday, and I went to the office. It's a really nice place. So
Nice.
I'm
Oh, I'm really
looking
excited
forward
for
to
you.
starting. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. You start on Monday, don't you? You've just been away. You're saying you went away to Turkey, didn't you? You had a nice time
Yeah.
away before starting a new job. So perfect
Yeah.
time to go away, isn't it, in between?
Yeah, I wanted a break between swapping jobs. It kind of like a nice gap in your chapter.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I like that. And you attend events in Milton Keynes. That's where I met you, wasn't it? At one of the Code for Her events that Georgina
Yeah.
organises at the Aimee offices. So just wondered perhaps if there's any other events that you attend in Milton Keynes.
So I was at an event last night actually.
Oh,
It was like a music and food event. The music, I didn't really like the music to be honest, but
did you
I
not
went
know?
to see a few of my friends that go to Code for Her. Um, I'm going to Made in MK, and I think in a few weeks. That's a good
Oh, yeah.
event.
You know, on the 2nd, isn't it? 2nd of May, I think it
Yeah,
is.
I think that's moved to Unity Place now because it used to be in the brew house and kitchen.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yep.
so that's a good event if you want to network. Lots of forcing yourself to talk to people is good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've been used to doing that. But there's so much going on in Milton Keynes, isn't there? There's quite a tech community, I find, within the
Yeah,
Milton Keynes area. So, and you've met so many new connections, haven't you, from going to these events? Do you find that that's going to help you sort of with your work as well, because you've got that support network around you to bounce ideas off
yeah.
people?
Code for Her is really good if you want like support from learning and stuff. Um, I'm one of the coaches there, so if anybody needs any help in learning JavaScript or anything, I'm there to help out.
That's great. You helped me out as well massively. Do you remember with my website?
Yeah, we'll
With the
keep that
WordPress that I couldn't figure something out, and you just like did it straight away. I was like, thank
quiet.
you so much.
That's okay. Yeah, there's loads of events on at Milton
There's
Keynes.
lots going on, isn't there?
That's why
Yeah,
I
hopefully
moved
see
in.
another one
It's so
soon.
busy and buzzing.
Great. It was really good to hear that you're obviously massively changed from being quite isolated. It's obviously going out to lots of events, meeting lots of people, you're learning, you're developing, and then you've got a new position that you're starting. So that's really exciting. Do you think there's certain trends in development? I don't know whether you've got any sort of predictions in terms of like the development that you're going to be doing in the future, what that might look like.
So I believe I'm going to be working on one of the applications. They have many applications. I'm not sure which one yet, but they're all React, so it should
Mm.
be familiar to me. I've got to learn some testing, which I didn't really do much of at my previous role. I'm currently doing a course on it, so
Ah, so that's your
hoping,
latest, is it? The
yeah,
testing
I'm
side.
hoping to finish that today. I'm going to
Oh,
stop
nice.
myself from going outside.
Yeah.
So,
How do you learn the testing side? So just to get an idea, is there certain sort of online courses or
yeah, I
tutorials?
bought a course on Udemy.
Udemy. Okay.
That's a good site if you want to like do courses and stuff. You get a little certificate at the end. Um, but YouTube has everything on there as well if you don't want to buy anything.
Mm.
But Udemy's always got courses for discount prices, like £15. And some companies, my previous company, were buying me courses, so
Mm.
I haven't bought
Okay.
many for the last few years.
Because you've had that from your companies that you worked at. No, that's great.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to finish off the podcast, if we could talk a little bit more about like the React development that you do. Any advice to people that want to get into React, how best to learn it, what you've used, how you've really sort of gained your skill set in React?
Yeah, so I guess if you want to do React, it's probably best to learn JavaScript first because React is JavaScript. And jumping straight into React is not probably a good idea. because you need to know the JavaScript basics to use it. I was first exposed to it probably in about 2016, and I didn't know any JavaScript, so I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I needed to learn JavaScript first. So I went back and learned JavaScript, and then I started playing around with React. And then I finally got a job doing it, and the job
Nice.
has taught me so much.
Brilliant. So being in that position and then having sort of the projects to work on, you've learned as you go, do you find? Was that sort of practical experience?
Yeah. So I was building my own projects. I had my own website. I built that in Gatsby, which is a React framework. But I was just lucky, I guess. The previous job, a recruiter contacted me again. I feel like I've been quite lucky with jobs.
Yeah,
I feel like a job comes to you, then that's a good one.
definitely. Yeah, it shows that so you're in demand. So yeah, you don't need to go out there and seek a role. It's they're coming to you because you've got that skill set
Yeah.
that's needed. But it puts you in a really good position, doesn't it, to decide, okay, do I stay where I am, or what else is out there? Would I be better to sort of look to see what's there?
Yeah.
Mm.
If you definitely grow in jobs, but it was really hard to get my first job because nobody wanted you because you had no experience. But I just kept trying, and
Mm.
eventually I got my first one. I needed to learn to drive first though, because
Oh, did you? Yeah,
I'm
that
from
was.
Dunstable originally, and I was looking for jobs around Dunstable and Luton area. I didn't have a car at the time; I couldn't drive, and I wasn't finding anything. So I learned to drive, bought a car, started applying further out, and I finally got my first job in Chesham,
Mm.
which was a lovely drive. It was about 30 minutes through all the countryside. I loved it. Um,
Nice.
and that was my first developer job. And all I knew was a bit of HTML, CSS, and a little bit of jQuery.
Nice.
I
We all
feel
start
really
somewhere, haven't
lucky.
we?
Yeah, it seems really hard to get a job now. They always want loads of stuff on the listing. Seems
Yeah, I
mad.
was going to ask you about that. When you applied for jobs, obviously you see a whole list of technologies which people are ideally looking for, that unicorn with all of the skill sets. Did you only apply to the ones that you had everything on the list for?
I used to be like that, but I've been hearing that a lot of women always want to tick all the boxes, but just apply for it because you won't
Yeah,
know unless you do it.
exactly.
Have some of the skills. They can't expect you to know everything. I think they just put it all down to say, yeah, we might need you to know this.
Like
But
the
if you're
wish list.
willing to learn stuff, like, so the new job, I don't have much testing experience, but they've still hired
There you
me.
go. Yeah, I think that's a really key message to give to people. And I was sending that out to somebody earlier in the week. It's they were only applying for things that they had everything on the list for. And I tried to explain to them that be more open-minded because they can upskill on those some of those technical skill
Yeah.
sets. And this is exactly what you've done there. You've applied for something where you don't have that testing experience, but that can be upskilled. You can train that. I feel
Yeah.
what's more important now is those as well, looking at those interpersonal skills, because bringing in the right people is really important as well. So in your day-to-day role, when you're working within a team, what interpersonal skills would you say are quite important, in development?
I guess being able to communicate with people and teamwork, uh, I guess understanding what other people's opinions are. It's nice to work in a team because you have other people to support you and stuff, and you've got people to check your code.
Nice. I won't be surprised if that is one of the key reasons why you perhaps got this new position as well. Obviously, you've got a great background of experience, but you want to be interacting with people. You want to be within the team. You've shown that passion for wanting to be, within an office environment. Communication, teamwork is really, really important because you can have all the skill sets, but if you can't work as part of a team or, speak with
Mm.
various different people and collaborate, then that's going to be more difficult to run projects, isn't it? I guess.
Yeah, I guess if you're a freelancer and you're working alone, that's fine. But if you want to work in a big company on multiple projects in a team, then you need to have some kind of teamwork and
Mm.
communication skills. And I think that would be good for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also
And
going out
I
to
want to be in a bigger company so I can help newer people that are less experienced than me come in.
Nice. Yeah, no, I really like that. I think that's a massive part of your journey as well, with, like you say, going out to the networking events, meeting new people, pushing yourself out your comfort zone. Because when companies are hiring, they're going to be looking at, okay, is this person going to interact with the team? Are they going to work well as part of the team? So yeah, nice. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Aimee. And I love that you're on brand as well with the purple and the pink. Very tech recruits.
Yeah, I just got it yesterday for you.
That's really cool. I love it. But yeah, thank you so much. And I will see you soon at one of the Code for Her events coming up.
Yeah, it's at the end of the month, isn't it?
Yeah, see you at the end of the month. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, speak soon. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.